Now, guys, Canada has been making landsliding changes in all of its immigration programs, but more specifically, I'm talking about the recent change that was announced in the student direct stream of applying for study permit for Canada. Now, that particular stream being shut down overnight without any prior intimations is raising a lot of eyebrows. Not only that, if you talk about the shorter validity of multiple entry visas, also making it more stricter and giving the officers a lot of food for thought in the operational guidelines, makes me wonder that what exactly is going on and what is there in the in the operations behind the curtains, which we are not really able to connect in terms of the dots. So guys, in this video today, we will talk about what could be the probable concerns, could be the probable causes, and what are the potential impacts, the real world practical issues which could be running behind making these sudden changes and also not giving any notification to the public in advance. Guys, in this video, we will talk about all of these things in detail. Please be sure to watch the video till the end. My name is Sahil. Guys, welcome back once again. My name is Sahil and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and I practice here in Ontario. My office is here. If you have to get in touch with me, my number is on the screen and the details are there in the description box. More than happy to speak with you. Before we proceed any further, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon because we talk a lot about Canadian immigration. And if you are an aspirant of moving to Canada, then this is a channel that you must be subscribed to all the time. So guys, we are talking about the landsliding changes that Canada has been announcing throughout this entire year. And more importantly, the two changes that are raising a lot of eyebrows is basically shutting down the SDS stream out of the blue. There was no prior intimation, and also making it more difficult for people to apply for even a visitor visa for Canada. Guys, if you look at the visitor visa for Canada, the changes that have been announced on November the 6th, 2024 basically mean that the officer will look at the applicant's political, so the country where the applicant is coming from. The officer should look at the political situation in that country, should also look at the police clearance and all the other situations around political stability in that country before issuing a single entry or a multiple entry visa. Another important change to be looked at closely is that the officer could also issue a single entry visa instead of a multiple entry if deemed suitable. The officer can also issue a multiple entry visa with a shorter duration, which means no more 10-year visas, they can issue a shorter duration visa as well. Apart from the specific change in the multiple entry, if you look at the student direct stream, I am somehow not able to digest the fact that why would IRCC shut down one stream by itself, because it is only related to India at the moment and there are other countries also. But if you talk about the student direct stream, India happens to be the main contender because overall in Canada, the number of students who are studying, 46%, close to 46% are Indian students. With that being said, SDS stream has certain set of prerequisites. For example, SDS would give you a better IELTS, would give you more GIC, which means students are bound to have good amount of money. It would also ensure that the student has 1 year visa, 1 year tuition fee paid to the college already in advance. Why would IRCC shut that perfectly operating program for the past almost 6 years since 2018 overnight? The only thing that is going on in my mind is that IRCC is doing or could be doing, these are my personal opinions. Once again, there are no valid backings to it. This is only my assumption. So please take it, with a pinch of salt. But I personally think that IRCC basically wants to do more due diligence in the back end before issuing any sort of a visa. Because a student direct stream basically promises the visas to be issued in almost 2 to 3 weeks, whereas a regular study permit could have a visa coming through in about 3 to 6 months, maybe up to 8 or 9 months as well. So IRCC wants to do a lot of due diligence in students who are coming from specific countries, and I would definitely like to point out to India because recently the India-Canada relations have been in troubled waters, especially from last year, when the Khalistani activist Niger was shot down in Canada, and after that the issues were raised in the Parliament of Canada as well, and then the rift between the two countries has been going on. Recently, also, the Prime Minister of Canada accused the diplomats of India for certain reasons, and all of this has been causing a lot of issues in between the two countries. Not only that, the country package for India. So basically, what IRCC does is that IRCC keeps information on every country within its within its knowledge set, which officers can refer to whenever they are making decisions with respect to a particular country. For example, if an applicant from a specific country would submit an application, IRCC officer or even IRB would have the authority to look at the country package to see what kind of issues are going on in that country. In that particular country package, espionage has been added, which is a big deal, which means India has been now termed as a country which can engage into espionage, which means India is trying to get into the internal affairs of other countries, Canada in this matter, and trying to interfere with the internal stuff, for example, killing Canadian citizens and stuff like that. With all of these backgrounds, I think now Canada wants to do a lot of due diligence whenever issuing study permits, especially from India at this moment. This is my assumption. But the change in SDS category and the change in visitor visa applications processing is definitely going to impact the larger amount of public in by large as well. The officers have the authority to now be more strict. They can now look at the country's political situation. They can now look at the proof of funds, the purpose of stay, basically who's hosting them, what is the credibility of the host, has the host basically invited a couple of people, what is the record of that, does the host have money, does the applicant have money, do they have a proper travel plan. So all of these things will be looked at before issuing a visa. The impact, now the important thing is that what is the basic impact of all of these changes and the change of outlook of Canada towards issuing visas or permits to people of Indian origin or Indian nationals. I think there are two major impacts that we should always know. One, because the SDS is now out of the picture for study permits, the study permits will now probably face higher rejection rates. Okay, because study permits, the SDS stream was a more express mode where the officer would have a sort of satisfaction that okay, the person has these set of documents, but a normal study permit gets a lot of attention, so the officer has to do it more strictly, more spend a lot of time in terms of verifying the application. So that's the first impact. Second impact, applications could now have longer processing times, including student visas and visitor visas. I think these are the two major impacts. Overall, I think if you look at this announcement from the perspective of being a Canadian citizen, or even with the perspective of the Canadian government, I think what the Canadian government is trying to do is trying to maintain the integrity of its immigration policies. They are trying to maintain the the security of the country, which is not something that should be frowned upon, but it is something good that they are trying to do. They are now trying to secure their borders, trying to be more cautious when issuing visas. They are trying to be more diligent in terms of assessing the applications, which will now include higher rejection rates, shorter validity visas, and longer processing times. I guess this is the need of the hour. Looking at what Canada is undergoing in the coming times, we will know what the processing times are looking like, and we will definitely keep you updated. Guys, I hope the video today was helpful, gave you much insights into what's happening in the world of Canadian immigration. If you have anything to discuss with us, please feel free to schedule an appointment and we would be more than happy to speak with you. Once again, we wish you all the best and we really hope to see you soon in Canada. All the best.